Stories from a woman who lived with a narcissistic man. Welcome to another episode of our podcast, all about narcissism and narcissists. Today's episode is titled Stories from a Woman Who Lived with a Narcissistic Man. In this episode, we will share real-life experiences from women who have navigated relationships with narcissistic partners. These stories highlight the emotional turmoil, manipulation, and resilience faced by those who have endured narcissistic abuse. Through these narratives, we hope to shed light on the impact of narcissism and offer support to those who may find themselves in similar situations. Story 1: The Charismatic Chameleon. Background: Sarah was drawn to James's charm and charisma when they first met. He was charming, funny, and showered her with affection, making her feel special and adored. As their relationship progressed, Sarah began to notice subtle changes. James would often belittle her accomplishments and redirect conversations to focus on his needs and achievements. When Sarah expressed her feelings, he would dismiss them as overreactions, making her question her emotions. The turning point: after a significant conflict, James gaslighted Sarah, making her feel as if she were losing her grip on reality. He would say things like, "I never said that," or "You're too sensitive." This manipulation left Sarah feeling isolated and confused, ultimately prompting her to seek help. The aftermath: with the support of friends and a therapist, Sarah learned to recognize the signs of narcissistic behavior and set firm boundaries. She eventually found the strength to leave the toxic relationship, reclaiming her self-worth and identity. Story 2: The Cycle of Idealization and Evaluation. Background: Emily entered a whirlwind romance with Mark, who initially treated her like a queen. He would shower her with compliments and gifts, creating a sense of euphoria that felt intoxicating. However, this idealization quickly shifted to devaluation. Mark would alternate between affection and harsh criticism, leaving Emily in a constant state of emotional whiplash. She often felt as if she were walking on eggshells, desperately trying to regain his approval. The turning point came when Mark publicly humiliated Emily at a social gathering, belittling her in front of friends. The shame and embarrassment were overwhelming, and it forced Emily to confront the reality of their relationship. The aftermath: with the help of therapy, Emily learned about narcissistic abuse and its effects. She began to document her experiences and recognize the cycle of abuse. Eventually, she gathered the courage to leave Mark, focusing on rebuilding her confidence and establishing healthy boundaries in future relationships. Story 3: The Silent Treatment. Background: Laura found herself in a relationship with Tom, a man who often used the silent treatment as a form of punishment. At first, it seemed like a minor issue, but it quickly escalated into a major source of conflict. Tom would often withdraw emotionally when he didn't get his way, leaving Laura feeling anxious and desperate for connection. When she would try to reach out, he would dismiss her attempts and make her feel as if she were the problem. The turning point: after experiencing prolonged periods of silence from Tom, Laura realized the toll it was taking on her mental health. She felt lonely and unsupported, prompting her to seek advice from a therapist. The aftermath: Laura learned that the silent treatment was a form of emotional manipulation commonly used by narcissists. With her therapist's guidance, she practiced assertiveness and set boundaries regarding communication. Ultimately, Laura recognized that she deserved better and chose to end the relationship. Story 4: The Role Reversal. Background: Anna was initially captivated by Ryan's intelligence and charm. As the relationship deepened, however, she noticed a pattern where Ryan would often play the victim, deflecting blame and responsibility onto her. Anna would find herself apologizing for things she hadn't done, feeling guilty for his emotional outbursts. Ryan's behavior left her feeling confused, as if she were constantly to blame for his unhappiness. The turning point occurred when Anna began to document their conversations and realized the consistent pattern of manipulation. She recognized that Ryan was projecting his insecurities onto her and that it was not her responsibility to fix his problems. The aftermath: armed with this new understanding, Anna sought therapy to work through her feelings of guilt and self-doubt. She learned to stand up for herself and eventually decided to end the relationship, focusing on her emotional health and independence. Conclusion. These stories highlight the emotional struggles and resilience of women who have lived with narcissistic men. Each narrative reflects the complexities of narcissistic abuse, emphasizing the importance of recognizing manipulative behaviors, setting boundaries, and prioritizing self-care. Thank you for joining us in this episode on Stories from a Woman Who Lived with a Narcissistic Man. We hope these stories resonate with you and provide insight into the experiences of those affected by narcissistic relationships. Remember, if you or someone you know is dealing with narcissistic abuse, you are not alone, and support is available. Prioritize your emotional well-being and seek help when needed.